We have a special treat in store for you. We got Chef Mark from Ochsner. He's going to be doing a couple of recipes. Give it up to Chef Mark. Yeah. All right. Did you bring any copies of your book?
No, I did not.
Okay, but that's all right. How can they get one?
We can go to visit ochsner.org and then just look for the cookbook on top of the screen and click on that, and they'll give you all the instructions on how to purchase the book.
Right. With all the knowledge we have about eating healthy and right, what he did, he's a master at taking the nutrition but creating flavor around the nutrition.
Exactly.
And that's what impressed me about you.
All right, we're going to do is a little andouille and green onion, polenta. And if everybody say, what is polenta? What is polenta? Polenta, to me, my explanation of it is an Italian grit. Like grits, but it's an Italian grit. It's got a little yellowish tint to it, and it almost tastes like grits to me, but it's got a little bit more flavor, a little bit more texture to them as well. So we're gonna start off here with a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. And we're gonna get our olive oil hot, okay? Because we're gonna make the polenta here. So we're gonna saute a little bit of andouille sausage. And you see the andouille, I cut it very, very small, because you want every bite of the polenta to have a little bit of andouille flavor in it. Now, we're gonna have our green onions, just some chopped fine green onions. And we're using that for a little flavor and a little bit of color too as well. So let's go ahead and give this a good stir. Keep that going there. Now, while we got that going, let's go ahead and get another little dish going. We're gonna do the little shrimp fricassee, all right? We're gonna make a little roux. We're gonna take, and then in this, what I'm doing here, don't follow this. That's not the recipe. I'm doing it for you, so everybody get a little taste, so. All right. So now we got our andouille, it's searing, and anytime you start saying vegetables and you start saying meats like this sausage, you're bringing out the flavors more. The sauteing brings out the flavors a lot more. Then we're gonna add our flour, and then we're gonna make a little, not a dark gumbo roux. We're gonna go a nice little light brown roux. All right, our butter's melted, margarine's melted. Let's add a little bit of flour. You want to add a little bit at a time, and it's always equal parts flour to equal parts oil or margarine. Okay, add a little bit more. You want to put a little bit at a time so you can whip it, and you can get it all in the shape. All right, so our roux is getting ready to start browning a little bit for us. Now, we have our andouille here. Got a nice little brown. See, it's sticking. I like that. That's the flavors. Get all of that unstick. Make it, scrape that bottom of that pan. All right, whoop, a little andouille in the ground. Okay. Now, we're gonna add to our polenta here, we're gonna add water. All right. Now we're gonna add a little bit half and half. And we're gonna let that come to a boil real quick. While we're doing that, we can go ahead and get this roux going. Smell that roux? Smell that chocolatiness, that roux flavor, that roux smell. And you want to make sure you stir it evenly to get all of your ingredients together. Now, our roux, doing good. We're going to turn our fire down a little bit here. And you see how the color of the roux? See how it's getting? Nice and brown, lightly brown. Now, let's go ahead and start adding some ingredients in here to get it rolling. All right, we're going to add a little bit of onion. We're going to add a little bit of celery. And we're going to add a little bit of bell pepper. Okay, so we're almost making like an étouffée here, okay? So this dish to me is a cross between étouffée and barbecue shrimp. A little bit of cross between each, you know? All right, now we got our roux. We're going to turn her up a little bit more so we can get that brown. See that chocolatey, see the color? It's a nice little light brown, not too dark, not a gumbo dark. Now, this is what you're gonna be careful with. I'm starting to boil over here. Whenever you're boiling with cream or milk, it'll come up on you, okay? So we wanna turn her down a little bit, and we're gonna go ahead and add our polenta. Polenta can be found in any stores, and you just wanna stir it in. And it's just like grits. It takes just about 5 minutes to cook. Really quick, simple to do. You want to give it a good mix. Now, if it tends to get a little thick on you, as you're cooking it, you'd want to add a little bit more liquid, just like grits. You know how grits get, as they sit, they get hard, but the half and half in here is going to keep it a little creamy. So we're going to add a little bit more of the half and half to this, let it cook up, and then we're going to go with it. We're going to go ahead, we're going to add all of our ingredients here till we go make a nice little sauce. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of Lea Perrin. Now we're gonna add our shrimp stock. Yeah. Now, where the barbecue shrimp comes in is the Lea Perrin, a little bit of basil, a little bit of oregano, a little touch of cayenne pepper, a little touch of Tabasco, and then lastly, just a little touch of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and add a little salt, and we'll come back and we'll taste him and see how he is. Okay, now we wanna stir. That way, that roux, whenever you're cooking with a roux, the biggest important thing is you wanna cook that roux out. You don't want that roux taste, that taste of roux. See how polenta's a little tight, so I'd rather it be a little tight than a little loose. So we're just gonna add a little bit of water to it, thin it out a little bit. It's just gonna sit here for a second while we cook our shrimp. So it'll be no problem. So we're just gonna add a little bit of water just to give it a little better consistency. And that way, we'll let it sit. And it'll tighten up, just like I said, just like grits do, on its own. Let's go ahead and do another dish. I'll put this over here. Now, the second dish we're gonna do is, it's hot, it's summertime, you know? People want something refreshing, without the carbs, you know, a little less carbs in everybody. With something, you know, different, new, innovative. So we're gonna make a little Mexican lettuce wraps, all right? First, we have our ground beef here, 93% fat-free ground beef, okay? Really fine ground beef. What I did was I browned it. Now we could add a little bit of onions to this. All right. Tell you what I'm gonna do. I might even add a little bit of green onion, just for a little color, you know? You need a little color. There we go, a little bit of green onion. All right, now, again, I'm gonna add another little Mexican spice that Mexican and Spanish use a lot is oregano. Did y'all know that? Oregano, really used in a lot of Mexican and Spanish dishes. So we're gonna put a little bit of oregano. Now, we're gonna let that brown a little bit, then we'll add a little bit of taco seasoning to it, okay? All right, now while that's browning, we're gonna go ahead and add our shrimp to the fricassee. You know what, let's go ahead and throw them all in there. Why not? So we're gonna go ahead and let this simmer a little bit until your shrimp are fully cooked, and then we're gonna be ready. Get back to this over here. Now our meat, everything is heated up very well. We're gonna go ahead and add a little bit of taco seasoning to this now. And just a little bit is all you need. You know, regular taco seasoning. So this is a green leaf lettuce here, which really works nice, because it's almost, you know, maybe fold it in half like that, fill it, and then close it, make like a little wrap. Great for summertime. It really, really helps. As you see the recipes, you know, well, what's healthy about margarine? What's healthy about andouille? Well, it's how much you use, number one, and also the biggest thing, it's how much, you know, you consume, okay? We're here in New Orleans, and in this area, you know, we tend to overeat, and we tend to, you know, eat a lot. But, you know, that's where we need to have self, you know, motivation and say, stop, that's enough.